Okay, so Birmingham is arguably one of the most diverse places in the world. It's just over 1 million, a fraction over 1 million people, but there's reputedly 200 mosques, so it's an incredible place. I think the real figure's more like 160, but there's something. It's multi-everything. So Islam is approaching 25% of the population, and there was an iconic moment here, bottom right, where the then Lord Mayor Shafiq Shah, Muslim, there was a reading from the Bible to be done publicly, and the Beatitudes, if you know the Sermon on the Mount, if you're from the Christian background, and it was Shafiq Shah, rather than the Bishop of Birmingham standing next to him, who did the reading. That speaks a lot, actually. Actually, he was taking a risk to do that. Seriously. We're trying to pioneer interfaith worship. This is in the Al-Mahdi Institute, a very enlightened Shia community in our city that my wife is completely integrated into. And I had the privilege to represent UPF there at the end of Ramadan and speak about, it was just after the Manchester and the London bombings, if you remember those tragic times. So I had to say something about that particular moment. But I also mentioned that, in my opinion, the devotion of Ramadan, it has a personal meaning, the internal jihad, but it has a public meaning. I feel that all the prayers and the devotion offered sincerely in our city is an offering for our city. There's a public dimension. And I feel UPF kind of emphasizes and brings all of that together and really respects that. So goodness is goodness, wherever it is, and we need to lift it up. And I like UPF from that perspective. We study principles of peace together. And because of our work in UPF and the Women's Federation, then we were invited to be part of a steering committee founded by the two ladies front right, Nina Gill, an MEP Labour, and Anthea McIntyre, a Conservative MEP. She's Deputy Chair of the Conservative Party. And so we are creating an initiative to try and help young people to avoid the pitfalls that many of us have fallen into, which causes hate crime. And when I met Anthea McIntyre, I was just so struck by her sincerity. Sometimes you meet people and they're too busy thinking about something else and they're here and there, but she was totally sincere and focused, and wonderful lady, both of them, her and Nina Gill. We had a peace blessing, UPF and Family Federation peace blessing in February this year, and we'll do the same again in springtime. We've held that this was in Arya Samaj, Hindu Bhavan. We've held it in Christian churches and other places of worship. It's a lovely occasion to come together and recognize this central building block of a good society, which is the family, which is not easy to maintain in the present day society. So many forces trying to split the family, to split us from each other. And again, UPF, we're trying to just do the opposite and make the effort to bring each other together and then work together on common issues for the benefit of everybody. That's part of our ethos. Sheikhs, councils, deputy lord lieutenants, and you name it. You've heard about the retreats. And we have a lovely gentleman here who's graced us with his presence. He came all the way from Essex, Mr. Journey. And so last Sunday we were together. We were invited to the Albanian community. There was the National Flag Day. And just prior to that, we'd been in a Christian church. Where were we? I can't remember now. There's so many things. Oh, yeah, in Hall Green, yes. Again, Birmingham's that kind of place. And we hope that through UPF and your being here and your interaction with us, then we become free. We become free to go anywhere and do anything for the sake of peace. We'll have true freedom. And also part of the kind of UPF ethos, which I think wasn't mentioned earlier, is that we try to relate to each other with a familial feeling. So our first impulse towards the other is, this could be my son, this could be my sister, this could be my child, this could be my grandfather, this could be my mum or dad, that kind of, and then everything else, which is important, what you're wearing on your head, your skin color, it's important, but it's secondary. Our first impulse is a familial feeling, and then we start to treat each other a little differently. That's part of our raison d'etre, my wife would say. And finally, then yesterday I was in Northampton with this wonderful young man here, Abade Ahmed, and they're doing a lot of work. There he is. On FGM, which of course is a women's issue, but we had a large meeting in our home last year on FGM, and the conclusion of the women who gathered there was that they need the support of men. So in this meeting that Abade held, there were 18 people, the head of interfaith and the police and different people there, but 8 were men and 10 women. So that's a very good initiative, and Abade was receiving a certificate because they are reporters. They're doing a little media program to develop a documentary film about it, which can raise the issue and stimulate conversations. And so Abade is one of about 10 or 12 reporters who go out and get personal testimonies, and then somehow they're put together into a very educational format which can do those things. Finally, trying to support the events that Robin and Margaret hold, which many of you, most of you will have attended, I imagine, in Parliament. This was just the 21st, I think, was it? Yeah. A joint venture between UPF and Women's Federation. And that's it. So I didn't see a stop sign, so I'm within my time. I think I'm the first. And I need my better half, who does all the work. I just speak about it. No, we're an item. We're a team.
So that's Audrey. So I just would like to call on Andrea Menard. Andrea, we want to recognize amazing work. Andrea is a wife, a mother of 3 and grandmother of 8. She's a tutor, health coach, and community therapist, entrepreneur. And she helps a lot of women, vulnerable women, to give them purpose in her life. And just we wanted to say thank you to her for amazing work. Yeah. That's it.
You're the one who took people to
Demos.
I'd like to invite Dimos. I can't pronounce his surname. Something like Griziotis. I hope that's a close approximation. He's an amazing guy, and he's amazing because he speaks 25 languages. No, sorry. He will do in a few years' time. No, he's genuinely going into and engaging with and integrating into all kinds of communities, especially through language, which is a very important vehicle. And I'm just going to read briefly what he put, because I'm going to use the word ethos, which is a Greek word, right? Ethos. Demos says, religious scripts are here to serve humankind, not to divide us. There are several verses on dogma that differentiate each religion, but likewise there are many that talk about the same thing, a merciful supreme being open to everyone who brings us together. Let's concentrate on those things and those verses. That sums up Demos.
Thank you very much.
And, when I told him about the Ambassador for Peace Award, he said, not yet. He says you need to actually merit it and deserve it through your action, words and action. But actually he merits this award, I think. That means thank you very much in Greek. It's on your mobile. Yep. So if I could invite my good friend Abade, Ahmed. He's doing amazing work in the Somali community and beyond. FGM is an issue, as you know, which is way beyond that. And he's doing work. He's based in Northampton. And we met, how long ago, Abade? 2 years ago. And he's faithfully supported UPF both in Parliament, here in London, in Birmingham, covered many miles. So yesterday I was very happy to be able to go to Northampton to return the favour and see the good work that he's doing with all kinds of people in civil society and local government. So we'd like to present you with the Ambassador for Peace Award. We'd like to invite Pastor Ajmal Chotai to join us. You can give the certificate. He's an Asian community pastor and outreach community officer from the New Testament Church of God, if you know that denomination in Christianity. Minority Overseas Coordinator in Birmingham by the government, for the government of Pakistan Overseas Ministry. A member of Multi-Faith Forum in Small Heath, where we went recently and spoke in a predominantly Muslim area of Birmingham. Ex-member of the government Interfaith Harmony Committee of the Punjab and Faisalabad in Pakistan. And ex-member of the government Peace Committee, Faisalabad in Pakistan. So well qualified as a new Ambassador for Peace.
No, this is my joy to invite Mustaq Mirza. Yeah. Mustaq is a very, if I would describe him, he's a very wonderful human being. He's on crossroad in his life. I just read what he wrote. I got lots of flaw in my life, but where I am is God pleased, and I know where I won't be. From selfish PIG to transform and repent, and by giving to receive, by bringing love and compassion and empathy and gratitude. That's where I find peace. And he does a lot of charitable work, but he's a very humble person, a really very special person. If you have the chance to speak with him, you will feel a lot from him.
I have something to say about him. There was a one chair free. I went to sit down, and people said, no, that's some man trying to. I didn't see the man. I go in, no, somebody's coming. I said, who is this man? When he comes, I'll get up. And then they said, he's such a wonderful man. He's never sitting up because he's serving others. And I said,